Hey guys, welcome back to the class. So in today's class we are going to learn about proxy chains. Proxy chain is a tool that provides you more anonymity. If I say like this, you guys may say that Mr. Kiran, you have already told us about VPN and Tor networks for anonymity, security and private, right? Then why do we need this so-called proxy chains tool? Yes my friends, that's correct. If you use free VPNs for anonymity, such VPNs are not reliable, and also you don't know that they could be a rogue VPNs. If you perform any hacking activity or penetration testing activity by using such VPNs, target system or a target network or a target company's server to which you have probed will know the IP of VPN, correct? And if such company approaches that VPN company, they may reveal your identity. Thus, it's not reliable or not recommended. Personally, I don't recommend. And even if you pay for VPN service, what if such VPN service do not maintain no log policy? Even in such scenarios, you are at risk, right? Now you guys may say that, Mr. Kiran, you have also told about Tor network, right? Tor network or Tor browser. Yes guys, I told you, but in order to connect to a Tor network, you should use client software, that is Tor browser, and only by using Tor browser, you cannot hack into any system or you cannot conduct a full-fledged penetration testing, correct? Because that's just a browser. You can hardly get a passive information of your target. Or you may use these browsers for finding vulnerabilities in websites and servers. Basically, companies will announce bounty programs so that if anyone can found a vulnerability in their web servers, the company will provide you prize money. And in such case, if you are planning to use Tor browser, such browsers are not reliable because the connections are very slow, because the network traffic has to pass through a number of Tor relay servers. Basically, you call them nodes. So what will you do in that case? Moreover, as said, browser is not only a tool to provide a full-fledged penetration testing. You have to use number of tools in order to conduct a full-fledged penetration testing. For example, if you are trying to find out live IPs in a network, you have to do a network scan. And if you find your target, say for example, the IP address of your target is 10.11.12.13, you have to find the open ports on your target machine so that you can find out what are the services running on those ports and what are their version numbers. So in such cases, if your network traffic is too slow, that could be a business problem, right? That kills your time basically. So what will you do in such cases? In order to encounter such problems, the solution is proxy chains. As said, proxy chains is used for anonymity. That is not the definition of proxy chains, neither it is a proper description of what a proxy chain is. Basically, proxy chain is a tool. It is a Unix based program that forces your TCP traffic or TCP connection that you create using programs to pass through a number of proxy servers, just like your Tor network. What the hell, Mr. Kiran? In earlier classes, you have told that proxy servers do not encrypt the network traffic or network data. Is that correct? Yes, my friends, that's actually partially correct. Most of the proxy servers do not encrypt the data, even they have capability to do so. And that is the reason I did not show you how to set up a proxy on your Windows or Linux machine. But if you go to your Windows machine, now I am on my Windows 11 computer. Under systems, under here is the system tabs. Under systems, you can go to network or internet, or just type proxy proxy. So proxy settings, click on the proxy settings as you can see over here, and use a proxy server. Now click on the setup to set up a proxy server. Use a proxy server, toggle this switch. So now you can mention the proxy server's IP address and the port number in order to use the proxy server. So how do you get the IP address of a proxy server and the port number? Simple answer, open your favorite browser. In the Google, type free proxy list. So here are the websites that are providing you free proxy servers. So let me go to any one of these websites. Let me open these two websites. As you can see, these are all the IP addresses and port number and the country of the proxy where the proxy is located, proxy server is located. And if you can simply copy the IP address of this proxy server, copy, port number is 30199, paste the IP address 30199. Is that correct? Let me cross check once again. 30199, and I have to save. Now if I type what is my IP.com, or let me click the Google first. As you can see, the site cannot be reached. Maybe the proxy is a dead proxy. So let me change other proxy. No, it's not opening. So let me choose some other proxy. So let me choose proxy server from United States. It's 192.111.139 and 162. Let me use some HTTP proxy instead that. So let me go to this site, spice.1. So we have some proxies over here. So let me use this proxy server, copy, and port number is 8080. Let me save it. Control F5. As you can see, now my Google has changed to this I think it's Chinese, right? Where is this server located at? It's from Taiwan. So this could be a Chinese language. And if I type what is my IP, so I should be, this is expected anyway. As you can see, the IP address is 122.117.95 and 113. 122.117.95 and 113. I'm not a robot. This is a very big task. Well, as you can see, now my public IP is 122.117.95 and 133. So I am using a proxy server from Taiwan country, and I should take a chance by trusting this server. And this is how you set up a proxy server in Windows. Similarly, you can set up a proxy server in Linux as well. But as said, proxy servers do not encrypt the data, and if someone approaches, the owner of this proxy server may reveal my original IP address if he actually maintains the logs. So what we are going to do now? So we are going to use these proxy servers, say 5, 8, 10, 3 or number of proxy servers in a chain link format, so that your anonymity can be increased. Even if your target company approaches the first, last from my side and first from the target side, even if the target company will approaches the first IP, he may or may not reveal the IP address. Even if he reveals, he will have to reveal his earlier IP address. Say for example, I am using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 IPs as a chain, and this 10th IP, which is 52.128.59 and 201, is my target to which I am going to hack. This company or this target company will approach 72, 80, 242 and 10. And if this guy wants to reveal the IP address, he has to reveal 173, 249, 53 and 172. And this company again 52.128 has to approach 173, 249 for further logs. And even if he reveals, just in case, he will only reveal 196, 399 and 162. Again the target 52, 128, 59, 201 has to approach 66, 211, 155, 34, and this goes on. So it becomes very hard for this target company to find my original IP, which is 157, 230, 34 or 219. So I'm going to link these proxy servers as a chain in order to hack into this machine or in order to conduct a penetration testing. So as said, proxy chain is a tool that forces all your connections made by your applications, programs, basically TCP connections made by your program, to go through all these proxy servers. Moreover, when you are using a Tor browser, most of the time that proxy type is HTTP or HTTPS. Now if you see over here, Where is it? Let me scroll down. Not here. So let me see over here. Type. We don't have type over here. Let me go to another. As you can see over here, we have protocol type SOCKS 4, SOCKS 5 in the list. So what is this SOCKS 4 and SOCKS 5? Basically, SOCK is a short name for socket security, and SOCKS is a network protocol. Basically, it is protocol at layer 5, and it is used to exchange the network packets, or basically transmitting the data between client and server through a proxy server. Basically, it provides authentication, like if you have username and password, then you can actually access the proxy server. And now let us see the installation of Proxy Chains tool in our Kali machine. Proxy Chains comes with a Kali Linux when you actually install the Kali Linux. But since I have to demonstrate you the installation of this tool, let me first show the installation on Ubuntu machine. So let me jump onto my Ubuntu computer. As you can see, now I am on my Linux Ubuntu machine. So let us open the terminal in order to install Proxy Chains application on this machine. And as you can see, this is the terminal, and in order to install this Proxy Chains 4 application, you have to install the binary packages first. And the command to install these binaries is sudo apt install lib proxy chains 4, lib proxy chains 4, and hit enter. Type the root password, enter, and as you can see, the binaries are now actually installing on this machine. Now you can actually install the actual application, that is Proxy Chain 4. The command is sudo apt install, just remove the lib. So the command is sudo apt install Proxy Chains 4 and hit enter. This shouldn't take much time, as already 80% has completed. The installation of this application or this program is now complete, and you have to do some changes on this configuration file, which is proxychains4.conf. So let me locate the file location. Locate proxychains4.conf. So as you can see, you can find this file at root etc folder, and in the etc folder you have this proxychains4.conf file. Okay, so let me open with nano editor. Sudo, clear the screen first, sudo nano root etc, the folder name and the file name proxy chains.conf. And here in this tool you have to do some changes to properly configure proxy chains to work, and I'm going to demonstrate the same tool on Kali Linux machine, because most of the time we are going to work on Kali machine. So let us open this tool, or let us open this file in Kali Linux machine. So guys, as you can see, now I am on my Kali Linux machine, and let me open the same file that we have opened in Ubuntu machine. So let me open the terminal application, and as you can see, this is the terminal, and locate proxy chains 4. And if I scroll up, as you can see, this is the file that we need to edit and do some changes in this file, and it is located in root etc folder. So let me go to the folder, or let me open the application in the terminal here itself. Let me clear the screen first, and let me use nano editor in order to open this file. You can use vi editor if you are comfortable with vi editor. Sudo nano root etc, then proxy chains, and hit tab on your keyboard for command completion, and let me hit enter. You are asked to type the root password, and the password is greatpass, and hit enter. And as you can see, this is the proxychains.conf file where you have to do some changes, and this application is version 4, and it supports HTTP, SOCKS 5 for tunneling the proxy file with a DNS. So you know HTTP protocol, and you have SOCKS, it is yet another protocol. So SOCKS 5 is yet another protocol, that is a network protocol used for proxying the network packets between your client and server through a proxy server. And if you come down below, you can see we have here dynamic chain. strict chain, and these are the methods or modes for using this proxy chain application. And as you can see, there is a hash in front of almost all the lines. It means that all these lines are commented, but strict chain is not commented, it is a mode. So let me explain you what are the modes in this application for using this proxy chains application. So we have primarily three modes: dynamic chain mode, strict chain mode, and if you come down we have random mode. So random chain mode, as you can see over here. So what is a dynamic chain mode? As you can see, or as you can read the text over here, in dynamic each connection will be done via chained proxies. All proxies chained in order as they appear in the list. So let me go to the list once in order to explain you what these modes are. So let me use down arrow on my keyboard, and if you come to the bottom of this file, as you can see over here, these are the examples of the list. This is a protocol, SOX5 protocol for proxying, and this IP address of the proxy server. This is a port number on which the connections are established, and SOX5 generally supports authentication. You have username and the password in order to log into this proxy server, and we have 4 servers in the list. So in here you can add your proxies like this. So as you can see, SOX4 and loopback address 127.0.0.1 on port 9050 is enabled. It's using Tor network as a default. So if you add more IP addresses like this in the list, that is called as a chain. And the order of a chain is first IP of proxy server, then second IP of proxy server, third and fourth of proxy servers. So they are the order in the chain. So let me move back to the modes. And as you can see, each connection will be done via chained proxies. So this is your machine, and this is your target machine where you want to connect to. And in the chain you have proxy server 1, this is P1, P2 and P3. So 3 servers you have in the list, P3. In the dynamic mode, your machine, your PC will first connect to the first IP server in the list, then it will connect second IP server in the list, then the third in the list, and finally you are connected to your target machine. So target machine, and at least one proxy must be online in order to play the chain. Say for example, even P3 is dead and P2 is dead, you are connected to your target via proxy server P1. And for example, if only P2 is dead and P3 is alive, okay, if P3 is alive, not dead, and P1 is also alive and P2 is dead, okay, then your connection is established to P1 first, then the connection is then connected to a P3, then you are connected to a target machine. So this is a dynamic chain of proxy chaining. And if you come to strict chain, as you can see the text over here, each connection will be done via chained proxies. All proxies in the chain are in order and all proxies must be online. In the dynamic chain, if one proxy is dead, still you can connect to a target machine, but in strict chain, strictly all IP address should be alive. Even if one proxy server is dead, for example, this P2 is dead, okay, this dead, then you cannot establish connection to your target. So that is what a strict chain is. And you have a random chain, and in random chain, as you can see, each connection will be done via random proxy. It means that you are connected to any one of the random proxies in the list, okay. So that is a random chain, and this is not good, it's only good for your IDS. And if you come down, this is a chain length. Chain length is 4. It means that between you and your target there are 4 proxy servers. You can configure them if you are using a random chain method of proxy chaining or round robin chain. Round robin is not mentioned over here. And if you come down, we have this proxy DNS enabled. So let me go to above modes and let me uncomment this dynamic chain. We are going to use dynamic chain for this demonstration purpose, and let me comment the strict chain. And let me scroll down, and as you can read over here, proxy DNS request, no leak for DNS data. So what is DNS leak basically is, let me clear the screen first. So what is DNS leak? As you can see in this slide, we have a client machine or your machine or my machine, and we are using browser in order to connect to this web server, which is www.insectechs.in. And when you type insectechs.in on in your browser, you will not actually directly contact the web server. You will be redirected to your DNS server, and DNS server will resolve this host name or fully qualified domain to its IP address. So IP address could be 123.456.789.10. Say for example this is the IP address of insectechs.in. So this DNS server, so in most of the cases your ISP from which you are getting the internet service will provide you or will assign you the DNS server as well. So that DNS server is responsible to resolve this hostname to IP address. Then the IP packets are sent over the network to this insectechs.in, as DNS server has already resolved the IP address. So now you can actually access the pages from this website. So this is a proper DNS resolution. But when you are using anonymity services like VPN or proxy, there is a tunnel. For example, this is a tunnel, VPN tunnel, and you are connected to a VPN server. In that case, your DNS server should not resolve the IP address. It is the other DNS server that is provided by VPN service should resolve the DNS server. VPN server will contact the DNS server. DNS server will respond to VPN server. Then VPN server will establish connection with the server. So this is how. So let me change the color. So this is how via tunnel you are connected to the VPN server. Then you are connected to your target machine to maintain this anonymity. But however, even after using a VPN service, if DNS server of your ISP resolves this domain name, then you are caught. Your IP is logged. It means that source computer's information, that is IP address and all activity is actually can be logged by this ISP. So, and that is called as a DNS leak. Means even after using VPN, the domain name resolution is done by your ISP and it is called as a DNS leak. And this should not happen. And it is a security flaw. Basically, DNS leak is a security flaw that allows DNS request to be revealed to your DNS IP servers in spite of using VPN server or any other anonymity tool. So as you can see on the screen, proxy-DNS is enabled. It is a function of this application where it prevents from DNS leaks to happen. And let me come down. So there are three methods and we are going to use method number 1. So this is uncommented proxy-DNS. So let me scroll down. So as you can see, we have SOCKS4 proxy server is enabled and it is loopback address. It means that this application proxy chains 4 is pointing to my loopback address. And if you do not configure this or if you do not make changes to this proxy chains 4 application, and if you use default settings, method could be anything, either it could be strict chain or dynamic chain or a random chain. If you are using default proxy server, the application is going to use Tor network for proxifying this entire machine. So let me hit Ctrl O because we have uncommented the dynamic chain and commented the strict mode. So let me save this file, Ctrl O, enter and Ctrl X. And in order to use proxy chains, you have to type proxy chains 4 and type. You can type any command, like you can type ping or you can type any scanning command, or you can actually open the Firefox and so on. But right now I'm not going to use this application in order to show you or reveal my actual IP address. So let me go and open the browser. As you can see, I have clicked on the Firefox browser. Browser should open shortly, and as you can see, that is the browser. And let me go to the google.com page. So what I want to do is I want to show you my IP address. For that, there's a bookmark over here. What is my ipaddress.com? So as you can see, this is my IP address 183.83.162.17, and my ISP is Act Fibernet. I am from Hyderabad, Telangana, India. And what happens is when I actually type any domain name, example, what is my ipaddress.com over here, or even if I type facebook.com, okay, so these are the domain names. When I type domain names in the browser, the DNS server provided by or assigned by this ISP is going to resolve these domain names to IP address. So which IP address or which DNS server is responsible for resolving these domain names, I'll show you using a Wireshark tool. Okay, so let me open a Wireshark tool and let me capture the packet of H0 because I am using a cable connection. And when I start capturing the traffic, click this on this blue shark icon and let me minimize and let me type IP address. What is my ipaddress.com once again. So now if I go back to close the terminal. This is the IP address, and let me stop the capturing of this traffic. Let me click on the red square button. Now the capturing of the traffic is now stopped, and if I scroll up, so 192.168.1.176 is my system's IP address. You can confirm by typing ifconfig. We can use terminator. So ifconfig. As you can see, my IP address is 192.168.1.76. Let me copy and create a filter ip.add.192.168.1.176. Maximize. And now let me scroll down. As you can see, packet number 182, source IP address is 192.168.1.176, and the destination IP address is 192.168.1.1, which is my router, and my router is name server over here. So DNS query request is sent from my system to router. So let me open this packet domain name system over here, and let me click on the drop down and the queries. As you can see, what is my IP address.com, type a record, and let me check for the response packet. And this is the packet 199. This is the standard query response for the packet 183. So 183 source IP is 192.168.1.176 and the destination is 101, while the 199 packet is 192.168.1.1 and the destination IP is 192.168.1.176, which is my IP, and this is queries response, DNS query response for what is my IP address.com, and this domain name is resolved to IP address. If I click on this packet and let me go down and click for the answers, as you can see, the header is it's in IPv6 format. So what is my IP address? Type is a record. What I want to say is my Wi-Fi router is acting as a DNS server over here, but in general, if you want to know the DNS server of your ISP, which is responsible for querying your domain names, you have to unplug the cable that you receive from your ISP and plug it to your system directly. So let me show you that on the video. As you can see, now I'm going to unplug this cable, white cable. So this is the cable that I am connected to my router, as you can see over here. So this is the link. This is a cable that I am getting from my ISP. So I am going to remove the cable from the Wi-Fi router and I am going to plug over here. Okay. Now let me restart the work again, so that you will actually find the IP address of the DNS server that is provided by my ISP. Okay. I am back on my Kali Linux machine again. So let me close this Wireshark application, quit without saving. Let me close all the terminals and all the work I have done. Now let me open my browser again and let me check the IP address. And as you can see, and as you're going to see, and as you can see, 183, 83, 162 and 149. Let me close the browser and let me open the Wireshark application and let me check how the DNS resolution is going on. What is the DNS IP or DNS server that is responsible for DNS queries? So let me capture using this icon. Before that, let me minimize this window and let me also open the browser. So as you can see, I am opening the website whatismyipaddress.com, and this domain name should be resolved to IP address by DNS server, and we are going to check what is that DNS server that is responsible. So it's slow, and again it's my IP address only. So let me stop capturing the packets at this point. We have already captured 4,000 packets. Let me maximize this window now in order to see the DNS packets, and now check what is my IP, my system IP address actually, because now I'm not connected to router. So if config, and my IP address is 10.0.2.15. So let me add a filter, maximize the window, and let me come down, and this is the query packet number 30 from 10.0.2.15 to 49, 205, 171, 194. This is a standard DNS query for what is my ipaddress.com, and the response is, where is the response? And this is the response, which is packet number 32, and from 49.205.171.194. So is this IP really a DNS server that is assigned by my ISP? In order to check that, let me minimize this window and copy the IP address. .171.194. Hit on the search button, and as you can see now, hide DNS actcorp.in. This is the IP address. Where is that IP address? 49.205.171.194, which belongs to actcorp.in ISP. With the host name, you can hide.dns. You can assume that this is a DNS server as it is hide DNS. So this is the DNS server from ISP. So all my DNS requests is handled by this DNS server. As you can see, we got a query response for what is my IP address.com. And if you come down and click on this domain name system response, this is a request packet. Packet number 30 is a request, is a query. Okay. And as you can see, this is a query, domain name system query, and packet number 32, it's a response, and you got the query answers. Query is what is my IP address.com, type A, and the answer is IP address, as you can see, 104, 116, 154, and 36. And this IP address is IP address of the website, what is my IP address.com. Okay. So my dear friends, I have two questions for you. Why did I unplug the cable from my router and plug to my system directly? And what is the other method to find the DNS servers responsible or DNS servers assigned by your ISPs? Just Google and try to find the answers. Now you are going to close this application and let me use proxy chain application in order to use or in order to open same website, that is what is my IP address.com, and let us this time check what is the exactly my IP address, that is system IP address, as well as if there is a DNS leak. If there is a DNS leak, the response will send to 49.205.171 and 194. If there is no DNS leak, that is what we want. We need our data to be securely transmit over the anonymity network, that is Tor network. If you are using a Tor network or if you are using proxy chains, whatever the anonymity service you are using, it should be done by that proxy server and the DNS server of that proxy service which you are using. So let me close the terminals now. I hope you understand what is DNS leak practically. Now how to use proxy chains application in order to create chain of proxies to the target server. For that the command is proxy chains Firefox, or you can use nmap command if you want. nmap and scan facebook.com book.com. So now you are using proxy chain applications in order to scan the facebook.com web server using the tool nmap. Okay, that is network mapping tool. Okay, as you can see, one IP address is up, that is of facebook.com, and we are using loopback address, that is 127.0.0.1 on port number 1950 in order to connect to a proxy chain using a Tor network. So as you can see, these are nmap scan results, all 1000 scan ports, but there are no results. Why? Pause the video and try to answer, and this was the actual expected result. So I am going to tell you after some time why we are seeing this result instead of some ports to be opened actually on this Facebook. Anyway, we have the scan result. We are going to use nmap extensively in this course. Now let me open proxy chains application. In order to use proxy chain application, by default you are going to use Tor network, right? Scroll down all the way to the bottom. So as you can see, we have not mentioned any proxy server IP addresses and port numbers and authentication methods. We are using Tor network as a default. SOX4 and loopback address is mentioned on port 1950. And now let me open the browser using proxy chains application, Firefox. So wait, as you can see, the browser is open, and let me click on the bookmark, what is my IP address.com. So it should not be 183.83 or it should not be from Act Fibernet, which is my ISP. Unable to connect, not an issue. So why are we unable to connect to this website? Not only this website, let me check for google.com also. Can we connect? No, we cannot connect. Facebook, we cannot connect. But why we are unable to connect to this website? Pause the video and can you try to guess why we are unable to connect to this website? Simple answer. Let me close this. As you can see, I am using Proxy Chains application in order to open this application Firefox, which is a browser, and under default settings, Proxy Chain application will use Tor network. However, the Tor service should be up and running. So how will you check that your Tor service is running or not? Close this, and the command is service Tor status, status. So let me check if Tor network is up and running. As you can see, it is inactive and dead. So that was the reason we are unable to connect to any website on the internet. So let me start the Tor service. Tor start is the command to start Tor network, and stop is the command to stop the network. So let me start start and hit enter. So type your root password, and as you can see, Tor is now started. So let me check the status once again. Service Tor status and hit enter. As you can see, it's now active and excited. Starting anonymizing overlay network for TCP and finish anonymize overlay network for TCP. So let it be like this. Okay, let me open new window. Let me open Terminator application. So this is my Terminator application. So what is the command to use Proxy Chain application? It's Proxy Chains Firefox, and just hit enter. Browser should start, and as you can see, the browser is now started. So let me open what is my ipaddress.com over here. Now you can actually connect to the Tor network. As you can see over here, our first is loopback address, that is 127.0.0.1, and you are connected to what is my ipaddress.com on port number 443, and our local port is 1950, and IP address is 185.220.101 and 151. It is from New York, city is Lansing from United States, and this is the IP address. Now let me check if there is any DNS leaks using online services like dnsleak.com and dnsleaktest.com. So it's still going on, and now type DNS leak test, DNS leak test. I'll click on I am not a robot. So as you can see, dnsleaktest.com. Let me open in new tab, and let me open another website like dnsleak.com. This is dnsleaktest.com. So let me click on extended test to find the DNS servers responsible for DNS resolution when I am using anonymity service. Okay guys, as you can see, now we have the results. So these are the IP addresses of DNS servers that are responsible for DNS name resolution. As you can see down here, as you can see over here, servers identify above receive request to resolve domain name, example some xyz.com or eff.com, to IP address every time you enter website on your browser. Now you can see IP addresses and its ISP names. It's a Flare, Cloudflare and so on, foundation of applied privacy. It's from Austria, and it is good thing that Act Fibernet of Hyderabad, India is nowhere in this list. So we don't have any DNS leak. Now let me close all these tabs and let me stop this application. Control C on your keyboard, and as you can see, now I have stopped this application, and let me close this, close the terminal. So while ago I did Nmap scanning on Facebook using Proxy Chains tool, and we had these results, right? So we did not end up with any results over here. Actually, I said leave it, we'll see it later. So I hope you now understand why did not we get any results, because at the time the Tor service was not enabled. Now since this Tor service is up and running, it's active, let us fire the same command proxy chains nmap facebook.com and let's watch the results if we can dig any results on facebook.com. And for that, let me open the Terminator application. Type the command proxy chains proxy chains nmap facebook.com. So this was the command that we have executed last time. So let me give the same command and hit enter on the keyboard. And as you can see, the proxy chain application is running. Dynamic chain and loopback address is pointing to our machine, and as you can see, facebook.com port 80 is okay. So as you can see over here, we have port 80 which is responding, which is open port, and port 443 is also an open port. So let me stop this application because it is going to take a lot of time. I will hit Ctrl+C on my keyboard, Ctrl+C, and so let me type the same command once again on different website, nmap. I'll do a TCP scan as T, and I will mention some ports over here. -P is a switch, so don't worry about these switches. As said, we are going to run nmap or learn nmap extensively in this course. Let me type port 80 443 8080 and let me type my website name vidyalayah.in. Clear the screen. As you can see, proxy chains application is running using nmap and connecting on Tor network and responding. And as you can see, the results only port 80 is now enabled, and the protocol is HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol, used on web servers. And this is the result of nmap scan on vidyalayah.in, that is my website. So what we will do is, let me clear the screen first, clear, clear, and let me open the file proxychains.conf. Type your root password, and as you know, this is the configuration of this file. And if you come all the way down, we have not added any proxy servers list over here. So let me add some servers in order to create a chain of proxy servers, and then we will do some nmap scan, or let us open any website using proxy chain applications and having a list of proxy servers as a chain. And in order to do that, let me grab some proxy servers online. And for that, you have to open your browser and type free proxy list. Okay, so let the browser starts, and now you can actually close this service. Ctrl+C, and you can type service Tor stop to stop the service. We don't need this service anymore. And on the browser, go to the Google and type free proxy list. So now it stopped. Close the window, and here in the browser, in the search bar, type free proxy list. You have so many websites that are providing this free proxy list, as you have already seen earlier. And as you can see here in the search list, you have free proxy list, zeonode.com, hidemy.name, spice.one. Spice.one you have seen already earlier, I guess. freeproxy.cz. So let me open this website. And if you see in this website over here, we have a lot of proxies, and you can filter proxies from all the countries. Click over here, and if you want proxies from Australia, if you want proxies from Bhutan, and so on, you can filter based on the country as well as based on anonymity and based on protocol. Like you have HTTP, HTTPS, SOCKS 5, SOCKS 4 and 5, and so on. And then you can actually filter on anonymity level, like level 1 elite level, level 2 anonymous, and level 3 transparent. So let me choose some proxy servers IPs for my proxy chains application, and I'm going to choose based on the uptime. Currently there are 5702 proxy servers in this free-proxy.cz database. And now let me filter some proxy servers for our proxy chains list, and I'll do filter based on uptime, response, speed as well as country. So let me choose proxy servers from China as an example. So we have 913 proxy servers that are currently from China, and click on filter proxies. Now you will have all the list from China only. As you can see over here, we have SOX 5 as well as SOX 4 protocols. So let me now check for the uptime. Here you have 93.3%. so let me go to the next page. So as you can see over here, you have 100% uptime, high anonymity, and it's from China. It's a SOX 5 on port number 1080. So this proxy server accept connections on port 1080. Anyway, in order to save some time, what I will do is I will select some proxy servers. I will save those IP addresses in a list, and I will add those IPs to the list of proxy chains application. Then I will show the demonstration. So as you can see guys, we have 3 IPs mentioned in the list, that is in the proxy chains list, and you have to disable this link because you are not going to use Tor network for anonymization. And so you have to comment this link over here, and you have to uncommit all 3, or you can use one by one for the demonstration of this proxy chains application. So let me start. So let me comment this line asset, and let me uncomment the first IP address of the proxy server, which is 192.111.130.2, and can establish connections on port 4145. All 3 proxy servers or SOX 5 proxy servers and connects on port 4145. So let me hit Ctrl O, enter, and Ctrl X to exit. So let me once check the status of the Tor service. Tor status, it should be dead or inactive. So it's dead and inactive. It's good, it's fine. So let me clear the screen. So let us now run this tool proxy chains, and let us open the Firefox browser, and let me open the Firefox. As you can see, the tool is now running, and let me open this website, which is whatismyipaddress.com. but instead what I'll do is I will open myip.com website, because there are a lot of scripts on this website whatismyipaddress.com, and it may take a lot of time. It will consume a lot of time. And as you can see, proxy chains application is using dynamic chain method, and the proxy server is 192.111.130 and 2, and it is connecting on port 4145. And as you can see, there is an issue because it is HTTPS link and there are no certificates installed. Anyway, let me click on the advanced button, and let me scroll down, accept the risk and continue. So as you can see, now the proxy chain is trying to connect to www.myip.com on port 443. As you can see over here, my current IP address is 192.111.130 and 2. Actually, it is the IP address of this proxy server. And in the chain, we have only one proxy server in the list. So now I'm going to close this browser. And as you can see over here, the proxy chains application is now stopped running as we have closed this browser. There is another method to check your IP address, and the command is curl checkip.dynDNS.org. curl checkip.dynDNS.org, and if you hit enter, as you can see, the current IP address is 183.83.165 and 65, because I am not using proxy chain in front of this command. If I have used proxy chain in front of this command, proxychains, I'm going to connect to this website checkip.dynDNS.org using this proxy server IP, which is 192.111.130.2, and as you can see, the current IP is 192.111.130.2. As said, we have only one IP in the list. Now I'm going to open the file and uncomment the rest 2 proxy servers in the list. Sudo nano etc /. Now let me uncomment the second IP and the third IP in the list. Control O, enter, and Control X. Now let me open the website with proxy chains again, or let me open the same command, proxy chains curl check ipdns.org. By the way, curl is command line URL. It is a tool that is used for sending and receiving data using URL syntax in a terminal, and hit enter. As you can see, the proxy chain application has started. It's a dynamic chain method, and we have now 3 proxy servers in the list that is going to connect to my target system, which is checkdns.org. And as you can see, the current IP address is 204, 101, 61 and 8. So where is 204? 204, 101, 61 and 81. As the third IP in the address is not responding, my second proxy server in the list is my IP address. So let me open the browser using proxy chains. Instead of curl, let me use Firefox to open the same website. And if I run the application again, Firefox browser should open, and as you can see, I'm connecting in a dynamic chain method. 192.168.130.2 is the first in the chain, second is 204, and the third is 70, and the third is 70, 185, 68 and 133, and it is trying to connect to checkip.dns.org. So let me see, and as you can see, this time the current IP address is 70, 185, 68 and 133, which is the third IP of proxy server in the list. Okay, by using this terminal, it did not responded. There was a timeout. When I using the browser, the third IP or the third proxy server is also responding in the complete chain of proxies, and the website is responding that my IP address is 70, 185, 68 and 133, which is third in the list. And as you can see on my browser, I am receiving this information. It means that data between my system, my browser, and checkip.dns.org is passing through all these 3 servers, and the last in the IP chains list is my IP address. So let me close this application once, Control C, and let me type proxy chains, and let me type nmap command to scan certain ports on my website. So nmap, let me do TCP scan st, and let me give some ports like 21 FTP port, 23 telnet port, 25, then we have 53 and 110 pop, and let me give 80 HTTP, 443 and so on. So, and the target is my website vidyalaYah.in, and let me scan this website using nmap tool, and I'm using proxy chains as an application in order to make this TCP connection anonymous. Hit enter, and as you can see now, the application is trying to connect to the target system vidyalaya.in via chain of proxies, and we have 3 proxy server IP addresses in the chain list, that is 192.111.130.2, 204, 101, 61, 81 and 70, 185, 68 and 133. There was a socket error on port number 23 and on port 25 as well, so these ports are not responding. Port 21 is responding, port 443 is also open and responding, port 80 should be okay now. Yes, port 80 is also okay. So in the Vidyalaya web server, a log file is created, and in that log file you will see the IP address 70, 185, 68 and 133 as source IP. And as you can see, the nmap scan results, 443 TCP port is open, HTTPS, then 110 POP is open, 80 is open, HTTP, DNS port is closed, SMTP port is closed, telnet port is closed, and FTP port is open. So as you can see, we can use proxy chain application in order to hide ourselves from the target machine, and in between we have layers of proxy servers to make hard for the target system to find us or find the actual source who is generating this traffic or who is actually doing the penetration testing or information gathering and so on. So that's it in the class, guys. Use this tool carefully. Do not use this tool for doing any kind of malicious activity. This tool is for education purpose. So meet you in the next class. Have a great day, guys. Thank you for watching the video and do subscribe to the YouTube channel INSECTECHS.